Hey guys. What up, what up, what up? It's your boy Dan Rose coming at you for another Jackson's Lane quarantine session. I hope you're all well. Hope you enjoyed the last session. Okay guys, we're gonna have some juggling, we're gonna have some fitness, we're gonna have some fun, I don't know, just we'll figure it out as we go along, okay? But I don't want to spend too much time explaining it like I did last week. Let's just get on into it, all right? For this week's lesson, you are going to need... First of all, you're going to need 3 shopping bags. Now, you can wear these in any fashion. I've chose for a little bit of a neckerchief and a hat underneath my initial hat, and I've gone for a sort of vest thing here. Preferably, they should be all the same sized shopping bags, but it doesn't really matter if you can't find them, okay? You're not going to wear them. I'm just being extra silly, so... I mean, you can wear them if you want. No one's going to judge you. You'll also need a ball or a sock. You're going to need a toothbrush and a cup. What I was trying to say is that you're going to need a bouncy ball, something that when you throw it against the wall, it really does give a bit of a jump back to you, okay? I'm using a ping pong ball, but you could use a tennis ball or an actual rubber bouncy ball that you've got, a little toy or something. Don't put ping pong balls in your mouth. They don't taste nice. Lastly, we're going to need a few sofa cushions, okay? But make sure that you have asked your parents as to whether you can use them. We're not going to be using them for anything too extreme. They're just going to be there to support us while doing some headstands. But make sure you've been given permission to use your sofa cushions for something other than sitting on your bottom. So now we know what we need, let's just get going with the circus, shall we? Whoa! Hey guys, so are you ready for our first fitness exercise? This involves our plastic bags, okay? So I think for this exercise it's going to be a little bit easier if you use a light plastic bag as opposed to a heavy sort of use again plastic bag. So if you've got a bit more of a single use plastic bag, that'll be a lot better. So this exercise is following on from the exercises that we did last week, where we dropped a paper bag and we plastic bag and bent down and then caught it basically. So it looks a little bit like this. We bend from the knees and we catch the bag. Okay. So you might want to just do one of those to remind yourself of how to squat with our knees going out to the side. Now, this week's exercise is adding something on top of that. So we take our bag up nice and high, and what we're going to do is a full 360 rotation turn back to the starting position, then bend down, then grab the bag. So we're adding on what we call a pirouette, okay? So we drop the bag, we pirouette, we catch the bag, we take it up high, we drop the bag, turn around, squat down and catch the bag. And again, bag up nice and high, we're going to drop the bag, turn around, squat down and catch it again, okay? Now, the thing that makes this trick work, well not trick, this exercise work, is really splitting up those stages in your head, okay? So it isn't a matter of, I'm going to drop the bag and spin and then, okay? Because that isn't going to work and it might ruin your lampshade, okay? What we really need to make sure that we're doing is we're dropping, spinning, bending, squatting. So, see if you can do those. Like all of the exercises that we're going to do today, I want you to see if you can do it 5 times, then give yourself a little 30-second to 40-second break, have a little bit of water, and then see if you can do it 5 more times. And that's going to be our set of repetitions for all of the exercises that we're going to do today. And a repetition is a full movement through one of the exercises. Okay, so one repetition of this exercise is drop the bag, turn, catch. 1. Can I do that 5 times in a row? If you drop the bag, you can choose to count it, you can choose to not. Perhaps you want to be a little bit meaner on yourself and say, if I drop the bag, then that's not a full exercise. But yeah, see how you get on with those. Remember, it's really important to push those knees out to the side and to split the exercise up. Drop, spin, catch, okay? Hi there. I guess I better show us the next exercise, eh? Well, that was kind of the next exercise, and we call it a bunny hop, okay? This is quite a tricky exercise, and you might want to put down a couple of these, okay? Just for a bit of safety. Now, the whole idea of a bunny hop is that we are trying to transfer all of the weight that is in our feet into our hands and then transfer it back to our feet. Now, we do that by blocking through the shoulders, which means putting tension into the shoulders so that they aren't weak, okay? This is a brilliant exercise for learning handstands and a little bit of acrobatics, but we're not going to go too crazy with it. The only addition that we're going to put onto it is either a ball or a sock. Okay? A balled up sock. I think I'll use the sock today, but what I want you to do is to take the sock, take the ball, place it in between your knees. Then you're going to go up onto what we call your haunches, which is where you don't have your heels touching the ground. You can if you're flexible enough, but ideally we want to be able to jump off of this part of our feet, okay? We're going to place our hands down on the ground and they're going to be shoulder width apart. We don't want them too wide, but we also really don't want them too close. We want to make sure that everything is in line with the rest of our body, okay? When we feel ready, we're going to see if we can jump our bottom over our shoulders. Let me show you what that means. Jump it up and over, okay? Jump it up and over, okay? So, the first one that you do, if this is the first ever time that you're doing this, you might just go like this. That's fine, okay? What this exercise is about progressing it at your own rate, okay? So some people might be really confident with it and they might go all the way up here. Whoopsie daisy. Sorry about that, guys. Let me tuck my shirt in, make my fashion look even cooler than it did already. I think I'm ready to do acrobatics now, don't you? Right, so, yeah, some people might go up nice and high and come back down, but that could be something that you could aim for once you've given this exercise a good old practice. So, like the same amount of repetitions as the first exercise, but maybe give yourself a minute break in between all of these. And as I say, if you're really scared of doing it, make sure that you've got the mats there, or you could even have your parent there, just putting their hand on your back, making sure you don't go all the way over, okay? So, if we were jumping up like this, our parent would have a hand just here, making sure that we're always going to be pushed back in the direction that we've come from, okay? So, don't forget the sock. If you're really squeezing that between your knees, that means there's a good connection, and this isn't happening. Yeah, because we want to make sure that those feet are almost like they're taped together. They have to stay together for this trick. Just like that. Just like that. Okay? So you can do a couple along with me on the video, or you can stop it now and do those exercises. Show me what you got! Right, we're on to the last fitness exercise of the video. How have you been doing so far? Are you tired? You should be a little bit tired. But this one is probably one of the hardest exercises that we're going to do. But again, like all the other ones, we're going to see if we can do 2 sets of 5 repetitions of this. So this exercise is using a sit-up, okay, which is to train our core and all of the things that help with things like handstands and acrobatics and bits and pieces like that, except I have added on an extra little bit of a challenge. So if you can do sit-ups, which I will explain and go through in a moment, then that's absolutely fine. You should definitely try to add this little extra thing on. If you can't do a sit-up, let's just see if we can get a sit-up, eh? It's just about making it appropriate to your level, okay? So, a sit-up is where we have our feet planted on the ground. We're going to put our arms up in the air, and we're going to see if we can get all the way up, okay? Now, this is a full sit-up. And we're using a full sit-up this time because we want to be able to do the extra things. So if we are just doing our sit-ups, we're going to come up to here, come back down, come up to here, come back down, okay? And you might need somebody sitting on your feet to make this a little bit easier, okay? Or just have something heavy on there. Or you could do it where there's maybe on the edge of the sofa. You put your feet under the sofa, use it to leverage yourself up. But yes, there's plenty of ways that we can make sit-ups a little bit easier, but how can we make them a little bit harder? So let's add the ball on top now. So I'm going to use my ping pong ball, but you could use any kind of bouncy ball. And I'm going to go up, I'm going to throw it a wall, and I'm going to catch the ball. I'm going to go up, bounce it off, catch it. Up, bounce it off, catch it. Up, bounce it off, catch it. Up, bounce it off, catch it, okay? And the nice thing about this is that although we are training our core, we're also thinking about our hand-eye coordination and how all of those things work together. So how is it when I'm training my core, I can also be thinking about working my hand-eye coordination to get a really full-bodied workout, full-bodied and full mind, okay? So as I said, I want you to see if you can do 5 of those twice. Give yourself a little bit of a break in between. If you manage to do the first set without the bouncy ball, see maybe if you could do the second set with the bouncy ball, that might be a brilliant addition. But I think that's it for the fitness. Let's just get on with some circus. Okay, so our first bit of circus. Circus? Circus. I can't speak words apparently anymore, okay? It's been too long in quarantine. Our first bit of circus is going to be using our plastic carrier bags, okay? Now, as you can see, I'm using light black plastic bags, and they go quite slowly when you throw them. But if you were to use bigger, heavier carrier bags, you'd have to be a bit quicker as you're juggling with them, okay? So, pick your carrier bag. Wow! Okay, I'm going to use the slightly slower carrier bags to start with today. Okay, now I want you to do everything along with me for this little bit of the session. You may need to pause to give yourself a little bit more practice, but primarily you're only going to do what I'm asking you to do. First things first, take one carrier bag. Place it in a hand that is facing upwards, so you always want your fingernails facing up to the sky, as though you are a T-Rex with little arms like this, who's just had his fingernails done, and you want to make sure that everybody can see your wonderful nail polish, okay? So we always want our fingernails facing up towards the ceiling, okay? And we flick our wrists to throw the bag, okay? Flick it away, catch. And we claw down when we catch, almost like we are that Tyrannosaurus Rex. You might make some noises as you do it. Come on. Well, maybe not, okay. I don't know how old you are. You might be a little bit beyond that. So that is number one. Perhaps you could pause the video and see if you could now do 50 throws, right to left, left to right. Just like this. Nice and simple. See if you can do 50 throws. See how many of them you catch and see how many of them you don't. Okay, up next, we have 2 bags, okay? Exactly the same as what you've just done. So, what we're going to try, now, 2 separate times, right, then left, okay? Right, left, catch, catch. Now, juggling is always the exact same throw, okay? Well, when we're learning the cascade, juggling the cascade, which is the trick that we're learning now, is always right, left, right, left, right, left. It's always the exact same throw, just coming out of different hands, okay? And it's all about rhythm. Rhythm and repetition is what makes up juggling. So if I have the correct rhythm, throwing all at the right points, and when I am meant to throw is when this bag reaches its top corner. So as soon as this one starts to drop, I throw this one. Have a little look. Oh look, it's going to drop. I throw this one. Catch, catch. So it goes throw, throw, catch, catch. Right, left, catch, catch. Whatever it is. You might have to say it out. Let's see if we can do a couple together now. Right, left, catch, catch. Right, left, catch, catch. And then if you're very good at right, left, you could try left, right, catch, catch. Right, left, catch, catch. Left, right, catch, catch. Now, one of the things that your body will want you to do is to pass along like this, along the bottom, but we know that that is not correct because it's not the exact same throw both times, okay? So don't think about that. Let's just see if we can get those bags up and over. If this is really tricky, and you're never ever catching it, because the catching is the hard part, then I just want you to try throw, throw, drop, drop. Maybe stand there like a little superhero at the end. Because it's all about understanding how the throws work. And as soon as we get really nice consistent throws, that they always look the same, we can start catching them, okay? So at first you might only catch one. Throw, throw, catch, okay? So break it down, go at your own level, all right? Have a little pause, see if you can do 50 of those for me now. Okay, on to the next one, 3 bags, okay? Now, this is where it gets quite tricky. You're gonna have to take 2 bags in one hand and somewhat split them up in your hand, okay? So that you can release one bag without throwing the other one that's at the back, okay? Now, make sure that all of your bags are quite opened up. The more surface area they have in the air, the slower they're going to be, and the slower they're going to be, the easier this will all be, okay? So make sure they've got a large amount of surface area in the air. Lovely jubbly. And as an exercise that we're all going to do this time, I just want us to try and throw, 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 drop, 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 okay? Let's all do it with me. 2 in the right, starting from the right hand. Although if you are left-handed, you can put 2 into your left and start from the left, all right? So we're going to just try this. Over, 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 stop. Okay? Now, hopefully you'll have 2 on the other side from which you started on and 1 on the other side from which it started on. And that's when you know you've done right, okay? And now what we could try to do is throw, 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 catch that last one, okay? Because we're building it up to possibly catching 2 this time, which goes like this. Drop, throw, throw, catch, catch. So that's just the second exercise that we did with 2 bags with an extra bag on top. And then going for the 3-bag flash, which is throwing 3 bags and catching 3 bags, will look something a little like this, okay? 1, 2, 3, catch, 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 catch. Do a little pose at the end. Get a round of applause from the audience. Oh, it's a round of applause. There's no audience there, but there could be. So, juggling is one of those things that is going to take some serious patience. It's going to take a lot of time, quite a lot of effort to be completely honest, but it's one of those things that if you put the time in, you will get benefits out. You will get the results out of it, okay? So really do practice it. Break it down. Every time that you feel that you're getting a little bit bored, go back down to 1 ball, 2 balls. If you're dropping all of the time, make it easier for yourself. These things are hard, they are difficult, but with a little bit of hard work, we'll be able to pull it off. Enjoy. So, our next circus skill is toothbrush and a cup. Bit of a weird object combination, but there are plenty of things that we can do with this, as you have already seen. First thing that I'm going to challenge you to do is to learn how to spin the toothbrush. We can do this in a number of ways, but the trick I want you to do, you're going to hold the toothbrush at the middle of the toothbrush, as though you are holding a pencil. You're going to see if you can push against your thumb with this finger, and hopefully it should just go around your thumb like so. Okay? Now this is a really good one because you can do it with a pen at school. It's just really good if you've got like fiddly fingers like I do with my ADHD and all those things. It's really good to be able to do something like this because it focuses your brain when you're doing something else, okay? So although it's kind of a circus skill, it's also something you can do when you're a little bit bored at school when we get back there. Okay, on to the next one, on to the next trick. So we are going to look at how we can throw the toothbrush into the cup, okay? So we can do it just from our hand, or we can see if we can throw, let me move this chair out of the way, throw it back into the cup. So we're going to see if we can spin the toothbrush in the air and get it back into the cup, okay? Now, to do this, we have to utilize our knees. I have to go down with my knees. It's very similar to what we did with the teacup and the tea bag the other week, okay? All of this requires a little bit of cushioning, okay? And we do that by bending the whole, like moving the whole of our body and compressing the amount of energy that gets used when it lands, okay? And when I say compress, I mean take away some of the energy. So, what you really want to do is give it a little bit of a flick with the wrist, but mainly go with your knees, up, down, and fail. But you know me, I'm all about keeping the fails in because it isn't every time that things like this work. Right, okay, so that was a 3/4 turn back to a half. So there are plenty of places that we can actually learn to catch the toothbrush. So we could just do a 1/4 turn, which would be catching it on its side like so. We could do a half turn, so it goes from being on this end to the brush end. We could do another 1/4 turn there. We could do a half turn there. So there are plenty of places that just with the toothbrush, you can achieve quite interesting tricks. And this is all based upon a Japanese thing called kendama. And if you have a little look on YouTube, there are plenty of kendama videos out there. And yeah, same sort of idea to all of these things. It's placing an object on top of an object in weird sort of ways. So that's what I want you to practice today. Just seeing if you can get it going back to the cup. Way there, Nelly. And seeing where you can catch it on the cup. Okay? And I'm going to put an extra special trick in there where I throw the toothbrush and I throw the cup and then I catch the toothbrush back in the cup. But I can't do it every single time. I'll try it for you now, but then I'll edit it in, me properly doing it next. Oh, that was close, but unfortunately I didn't catch the cup up the right way. Oh. So there are a few tricks that we can try with that, but primarily I want you to try toothbrush spinning and seeing if you can come up with some cool catches with your cup and your toothbrush. We have reached our final circus exercise. You have done so well, guys. I hope that you have invented some cool tricks. I hope that you have learned how to juggle. This week's lesson has been quite tricky. There's been a lot of hard things put in there, but I think that you've been dealing with it really, really well. I can't wait to see what you've come up with. But for our last exercise, we're going to try a tiny bit of acrobatics, okay? But we've got to make sure that we're safe before we do so. So, have a little look at my setup over here. This is my acrobatics at home setup, okay? And what I've got, 2 sofa cushions, I've got another cushion for my head. Because what we are going to learn today is how to do a headstand, okay? And a headstand will eventually become a handstand, which will eventually become a one-arm handstand, which will eventually become a no-arm handstand, which is impossible and it hasn't been done yet. But I believe that you can invent it. Maybe not. But either way, a headstand is a brilliant sort of basic acrobatic move that we can learn that really trains our core, but it's still quite difficult, and there are a few little pointers that we need to be thinking about, okay? So the first thing that I'm going to ask you to do is to create a triangle on the floor with your hands and your head. Now, what I mean by that is, this is going to be somewhat tricky to film. Bear with me just one moment, guys. Right, so what I meant by a triangle is that we're going to put our hands here and our head far away from them. So if we were to draw a shape on the ground, it would make a triangle, okay? Because it's our 2 hands going up to our 1 point over here. Lovely jubbly. I think I'm going to take it back to the safety area and continue the lesson. So once we're sure that we've figured out how to make our hands and our head into a triangular formation, the next step is placing our head onto the central cushion. Now, you want to make sure that you've got your hands on the actual floor before you take your feet off of the ground. Don't put them on the mat because it will cause unnecessary stress to your wrists. Okay, now I'm aware I might be shouting, but I want to make sure that you can hear me as I do this. So, as we push our bums over the top of our heads, we start taking a bit of weight out of our feet, okay? So, what we want to do, to make this a bit more gradual, is climb one knee on top of our elbows, okay? So we have a little bit of a balance like this, okay? And we're still pushing through our hands to give ourselves a bit of stability, because if I took my hands away, it just wouldn't work, okay? So that is our first step, is just seeing if we can get our knees onto our elbows, okay? If we can do that, we'll make sure we've got our top nicely tucked up, looking good, as always. And then we'll see if we can extend those legs up, okay? And what I mean by that is hands on the ground, head on the ground, one knee goes onto the elbow, the other knee goes onto the elbow, and then we bring our legs together and see if we can extend them up. Now, we're going to do it in front of a wall, so we can put our feet on the wall to make ourselves a bit comfortable, but we can also learn how to balance without the wall. And I really use my arms here, and I make sure that they're not flopping out like this, not flopping in like this, pushing them nice and straight, okay? And to come down, I'm bending back down to my elbows, bending back down, and I'm down. A bit redder than I was before, but these things are all about going at your own level, and I've said that a couple of times in this video because it's all about understanding who you are as a circus artist and what you are capable of, okay? So, it doesn't matter if you can't do a headstand. Maybe you can just figure out how to do the correct formation for a headstand. Maybe you can't do a headstand, but you've created an incredible safe space for other people to be able to do their headstands and things like this, okay? So there's plenty of things that we might not even really look at as a skill, but definitely is a bit of a talent when it comes to circus and things like that. Like, making things safe, for me, is a massive part of my job. So if you managed to do that and couldn't do a headstand, I would say that that's a tick off the list for this week's circus session, okay? Practice it. Go slowly with it and make sure that you are safe while doing it, okay guys? There's not too many things that can go wrong with headstands, but you've just got to make sure that you're not doing them in the middle of a railway track, or, you know, making sure that there is definitely something or someone there to catch you, and that you also don't have loads of things around you as you're doing your headstands. So if you're doing it next to your mum's ornament cabinet where she keeps all of her lovely trinkets and bits and pieces, maybe don't do your headstands there, because I'll get in trouble if you smash all of those lovely, like, I don't know what it is that people have in their houses. I don't have a particularly nice house, so I don't have lovely trinkets and bits and pieces, but don't break your parents, okay? Just because I don't have nice things doesn't mean that you can't have nice things. I think I'm going to leave it there for the circus today, because I've clearly gone slightly insane making this video. But I have given you bag juggling. I've given you toothbrush and a cup. I've given you headstands. What more could you want from me? What more could you want? And that was it. You've just completed your second ever JL quarantine session with Dan. I'm so proud of you. How did it go? I think we should have a bit of a conversation here, okay? So I'm going to ask you some questions. How did you find the exercises? Yeah. Yeah, I thought that could be a bit tricky too, yeah. And how about the bag juggling? Did you do well with that? Oh, really? That's pretty good, isn't it? Very nice. But oh yeah, and then, well, you win some, you lose some, don't you? That was a little bit of reflection. It's good to reflect on our practice, okay, guys? Because we've got to think about what we just did to make sure that we can do it better next time, okay? So if you found any of the exercises today particularly hard, I want you to go back, maybe think about what it was about that exercise that was so tricky. Was it that you couldn't catch it? If you couldn't catch one of the paper bags, maybe you just need to practice throwing a little bit more because the throws aren't too good. So we can often figure out what is wrong with our technique, which will make the trick work by ourselves, but we really do need to think about it. It's no good just going, I can't do that, oh, I'll never be able to juggle, I just can't do it. You'll never do it with that kind of attitude. All of these things are really hard. They just take a bit of hard work, dedication, and patience, okay? So, tune in later this week where you'll have Kaveh and Miles delivering another couple of awesome JL quarantine sessions. But just wanted to say thank you so much for coming along. Thank you so much for supporting the project. Yeah, hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye!